Okay, Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. And salutation, you Akim out there that puts this word in truth and in sincerity. This is going to be another lesson, a disturbing one, that kind of, let us know we living in a wicked ass society, because the things that happen in the society shouldn't happen, but we living in a wicked society. So I'm gonna get into it. It's not gonna be a quick lesson, straight and to the point. I just want to get into it. I'm not gonna mention no names. I'm not gonna mention any locations, but I'm gonna tell you the story because somebody that's cool with me on my job confided in me with the situation that was at hand, and I gave him some advice. Now I'm gonna get into it. Now, this dude on my job, that's a manager, right along with me, he was like withdrawn and not himself. Rock solid face. Mind you, this guy here always joking around, laughing. A nigga in the world. Don't know nothing, have a clue what's going on. Always joking, pranking people. But now, for the past 3 weeks, this dude come in and work with like a solid, strong face, being serious. So I'm used to this dude being a jokester, but he know me as not being a jokester. He know me as being straight and with a serious face, and I'm seeing him with a serious face. So I'm like, you all right, brother? He was like, not really, man. Tell me what's going on. Talk to me. He said, hey, man, at break, we sit in my car, and I talk to you, tell you and let you know what's going on. I said, all right, cool. And my mom like, okay, what's going on with this brother? I've never seen this dude, and I've known him for 5 years. He's always happy to go lucky. So we get in the car on break. We only got 15, 20 minutes, but he's telling me, oh, yo, I took my daughter, she's 6. I said, okay. I took my daughter to my wife's mother's house. Now, she got a 17-year-old son living there, and she didn't want to go. And before that, she would cry, I don't want to go there, but he would drop her off. And he blaming himself for this shit because he didn't put 2 and 2 together. And then he asked his daughter, she's only 6, mind you, why do you want to go to your grandma's house? And she said, blase blah, be touching me. So he like, okay. So he approached the situation. The grandmother, oh, she's lying. Why would a 6-year-old lie? She don't even know nothing about being touched upon, being fondled. She's 6. She just turned 6. Why would she lie about some shit like that? That's what's getting me. So he goes further. He approached and she was like, no, that ain't happening. I'll be watching her. But you be doing your own thing, watching your TV shows, and when you step out, and then you put him in charge, because he's 17, that's when the shit probably happens. So he went over there, he approached the situation, he told him, listen, if I find out when you putting your hands on me, touching my daughter, I'm gonna fuck you up. He said, I ain't doing nothing, I ain't doing that, that's bullshit, she lying, okay? Why would a 6-year-old lie about some shit like that? And she's not even, her mind is not even developed or even experienced to filter, the experience of shit like that. So he tells me that. So he said, I approached him and I, then my daughter comes to me again saying that he touched her. He said, where? On our private part. And I was like, what? You know what? He was like, yeah, man. She told me he touched on her. I said, what you mean? He touched her on her private part, stuck his finger in her. I'm like, what? He was like, what shall I do? I said, yo, bro. He said, you know what? I said, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna beat the shit out this nigga. And I'm gonna slice his fucking throat. I said, nah, bro, don't do that. Because what's gonna happen is you're not gonna be there for your daughter no more because they're gonna lock your ass up for murder. What you need to do is call the cops. Let your daughter give her a statement and let the law handle that shit, man. Don't take matters in your own hands because it's only going to hurt you. Now, me understanding the scriptures, that nigga deserves to be put to death. That nigga deserves to be put to death immediately. But we live in an Esau society where shit like that takes place. And Esau condones that shit. Look at the Espings files. Esau condones that shit. So I'm telling him, listen, man, handle it the right way. Contact the authorities. Bring your daughter to the precinct. Let her give her testimony. Why would a 6-year-old little girl lie? First and foremost. So I'm gonna bring out a scripture, and then I'm gonna tell you what happened to this nigga. This is the book of Sirach, chapter, like I said, I'm not gonna make this video long. Chapter 7, verse 1. Do no evil. And that was an evil act. Touching on a little 6-year-old girl. That's a wicked and evil act, man. And you deserve death. But I'm not gonna say too much because I don't want them to flag this video. It says, do no evil, so shall no harm come to thee. Now, what happened when she came to him again, his 6-year-old daughter came to him again, like I said, I'm not gonna mention no names. The dude went over there, he lost it. Now this is a manager on a job that I work at. That's why I had to go into work today. I'm off on Saturdays and Sundays. But I went into work to cover him. And he called the senior supervisor and said that he's waiting for his bond and he should be out by Tuesday of next week. But what he did was he went over there. Now, mind you, the dude that he carved up real nice, 17 years. 17 years old. A little creep. Touching on his little niece. Like he can't get buns. You got 304s out there giving that shit away literally for free, man. And you gonna touch on a little girl? Because you a fucking wicked ass nigga, man. It says, back in the book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 1, do no evil, so shall no harm come to thee. Now the harm that came to him, he went over there. From what I heard, he put on brass knuckles, beat the shit out the nigga, sliced the nigga face up. Nigga look like fucking Frankenstein 2.0. Slice the nigga face up, real proper lock, real decent, real vicious like. From what I'm hearing, dude got multiple, he got his face carved up to the white meat. Got the shit beat out of him. And the grandmother, which is his wife's mother, called the cops. And the cops came and apprehended him. And now he's locked up waiting for a bond. Was he wrong? Hell fucking no. But we not in our system. We in Esau's system where you gotta obey the laws. You should have, like I said, called the police, had your daughter testify. Why would a 6-year-old girl lie about some shit like that? And then you give him a lie detector test. If he failed, that's it. He's done. You gotta think. Not with emotions. Because when you get emotionally involved with a situation, emotions are dangerous. And then what happened is you do something within 15 minutes, it's going to cost you a lifetime of pain. It didn't take that dude 15, 20 minutes to beat the shit out of that young man. Carve him up real nice, leave him bloody, knocked out, swimming in his own blood. It didn't take him long. 15 minutes of that incident right there now may cost you a lifetime of pain. You're going to lose your job, your apartment, your woman. You ain't gonna be around your kid no more. All because you got emotional and didn't think. And I told him, listen, bro, this is the best counsel I can give you. Call the police. Take your daughter to the precinct. Call the police. Let them come. Let your daughter give this statement. She's really smart at the age of 6. Give her a statement and then let the police handle that shit. But he didn't do that. This is back in the book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 1. Do no evil, so shall no harm come to thee. And harm came to that man, that young nigga. He got his ass handed to him and carved up real nice. Depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee. And he was saying that his daughter was giving him hints that she had cried, but she had to go over there. But he had to work here to drop off anyway. Because she wasn't telling him. Then she finally told him, now he came to me with for advice. And I gave him the best advice I can give him. Let the law handle that shit, bro. You only gonna make matters worse if you take it in your own hands, bro. This is Esau's, I ain't say Esau, I said this is the white man's society, man. They got laws you gotta abide by. If you don't do that, they're gonna take your freedom from you. Whatever freedom you think you may have. So, it says, depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee. My son, sow not upon thee the furrows of unrighteousness. And that's what that 17-year-old nigga was doing. Sowing upon himself the furrows of unrighteousness. And thou shalt not reap them sevenfold. And he reaped them sevenfold. That dude came in there, beat the shit out of him with brass knuckles and carved his face up. I mean, not this one slice, carved him up. He lucky he didn't slice his throat. He just carved his face up. And busted him up real bad with them brass knuckles. And the grandmother, which is his wife's mother, called the cops. He fled the scene, but they apprehended him in his house. Now, is your daughter's word against his word, and you receiving a first degree assault charge for beating the shit out this nigga with brass knuckles and carving his face up. I understand, but you can't think carnally in this society. You gotta think with a spiritual mind, but he's not a spiritual dude. What do he know? Cracking jokes and talking shit all day. That's what he do. Until it got serious. Now he got a serious mind. Now he got the stone face. You should have been paying more attention to your daughter when she was crying, not wanting to go over there. You should ask a question. You should ask yourself, why she don't want to go to her grandmother's house? There's a reason why. But you didn't take the time to ask her. She had to tell you. Because you wasn't thinking. Because your mind's always on partying, bullshit, going out, hanging out in bars, and talking shit. And now, you paying the price, nigga. And I feel bad for the dude. Because he came to me for counsel. And I told him what to do. Don't do nothing, bro. Let the law handle that shit, man. They're going to give him a lie to take the test. And if he failed, that's his ass, bro. But he didn't take heed. He didn't take heed, man. You know, and like I said, I feel bad for the dude. But sometimes you gotta listen. This is this is the book of Sirach, chapter 18. Okay, 18. Bear with me real quick. Verse 20. It says, examine thyself. It says, Slaki, before judgment, examine thyself. And I gave him good counsel. Yo, bro, don't do nothing stupid. Go to the law. Bring your daughter down to the precinct, to the district attorney's office, and let her give her testimony what this dude did. Based upon that little 6-year-old girl's testimony, they're gonna go and they're gonna lock his ass up. He could deny all he want. Then they're gonna give him a polygraph test, which is a lie detector test. If he failed that shit, that's his ass. And we all know what happens to child predators in prison. They don't last. So he would have got his just due. But now you put yourself in a quagmire. Maybe you may not gonna see your daughter for years. You're gonna lose your job. And you're gonna lose your woman. Hopefully that don't happen. Hopefully the Most High will have mercy on you. But you should have listened. The Lord put the spirit on you to come tell me your problem. Your situation, what was going on. And I gave you the best advice you could do. You could take heed to. Do not do anything, bro. I know you hot. Your blood is boiling. Don't do nothing rash, bro. Just go to the Lord. He didn't take heed. He did something rash and beat the shit out this nigga with brass knuckles and carved his face up real nice. Do I blame him? No. But you got to abide by the law. You got to do things. You can't think carnally. You got to think spiritually. But you're not a spiritual dude. That's why the first thing he thought was to do carnal things. I don't blame him, though. I don't blame him. But you got to deal justly, man. It says, before judgment, examine thyself. And in the day of visitation, thou shalt find mercy. Had he would have took heed to what I was telling him, none of this should be happening. Now you got a bond. You waiting for a bond. You waiting to get bailed out. Everybody know your business. As you would have kept it, whereas you handle it by going to the law, nobody on the job will know your business, man. And everybody know your business. Everybody talking. Everybody's with you. Nobody blame you for what you did, bro. But now your business is out there. Your business is not show business. Your business, once again, your business is not show business. Your business is not my business. That's your business. Now everybody know what happened. Because you called the senior supervisor, and he's a bitch ass nigga. He's a bitch ass Edomite. And what he did was ran this fucking pothole. Now everybody know your business. That's how I found out. But I told them not to do nothing. But when they didn't show up today, and they called me this morning to come to work, I kind of felt somewhere like, damn, what the fuck is up with this nigga, man? Come to find out, he let his emotions get the better of him. Last scripture before I close it out, because I got something to do. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 8, verse 11. It says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men are fully set them to do evil. And this dude was doing much evil, man. How long that was going on? Him touching that little girl. And from what her father told me, which is kind of a good friend of mine, he's in the world. I only deal with him on work ethics only. After that, we don't deal with each other. But he's kind of a right dude, man. He told me his daughter said that he put his finger in her tutu. I understand. I understand what you did, and it's justified. But you got to let the Lord do their thing, man. I'm not saying you was wrong, I understand. But you got to think on a spiritual mindset. But you're not in this truth. You don't know nothing about the truth. So you're going to think carnally. And your emotions got the better of you. My father always told me, may his soul rest in peace. Emotions are dangerous. It would take 10 to 15 minutes to get you in trouble and a lifetime to get you out that trouble. 15 minutes of anger will give you a lifetime of pain. Use your brain, son. He always told me that. And now, my spiritual parents, which is the Apostle Tahar, on down, Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabal, on down, they give us spiritual lessons on how to deal spiritually. Let me say this before I close it out. I'm gonna read the rest of this chapter. These verses. Then I'm gonna say something. It says, because the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 8 verse 11, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men are fully set to do evil. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with him that feareth Yahweh, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which is as a shadow, because he feareth not before Yahweh. And 2/3 you niggas, y'all don't fear the Most High. Y'all don't know him. Y'all don't know him. Y'all got this thing with this Jesus concept, but he don't exist, and he loves everybody. But the Lord will watch things. And if you don't repent from your bullshit, after a while, the Lord will get tired of your shit and whack you out. Delete you. Now, let me say this. When he was telling me this in the car, right? And I was telling him, yo, bro, you just need to calm down and let the Lord handle it. I saw it in his eyes that what I was telling him was going in one ear after the other. So he had set in his mind what he was going to do. He had already set in his mind what he was going to do. I said, yo, bro, don't do nothing stupid, man. He's nah. I ain't gonna do nothing stupid. I'm gonna do the right thing. I said, which is? He didn't say nothing. And I didn't even ask him again. But I saw the look in his eyes. And it's something the Apostle Cabal always says. The eyes never lie. The eyes is the window to a man's soul. When I saw it in his eyes, I said, this dude gonna do something. He gonna do something real stupid and it's gonna cost him. And sure enough, he beat this nigga with brass knuckles and carved his face up real nice. Do I blame him? No. Was he wrong? No. But in the eyes of Esau, the so-called white man, you fucked up. That's assault and battery, because you beat the shit out of this nigga with them brass knuckles. Face all busted up, probably got a broke jaw, fractured eye, I don't know. I know he was busted up. If pictures of this guy circulate on my job, I'm gonna have somebody send it to me and I'm gonna make another video. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises once again to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Bakar Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and the bishops and elders of Great Millstone. And salutation you Akim out there that pushes word in truth and in sincerity. Hey, last note, I can't blame that man for what he did. I really can't. Because I can imagine I have a daughter, what I would have done to any man that had violated my daughter. I think I would have done him much more vicious than he did. I probably would have unalived him or castrated him. I said enough. Slacking for the rant. Shalom.